You have ever stood by your window in the early morning, coffee in hand, and watched a bird disappear from your feeder the moment the sun crept above the tree line? 1 second it is there, the next it is gone, and you probably thought nothing of it. But here is what I need you to sit with for just a moment before this video really begins. That bird knew exactly what it was doing. It was not scared. It was not hungry anymore. It was following a set of instructions so precise, so ancient, so deeply written into its biology that even the most advanced GPS technology we have ever built cannot fully replicate what happens inside that tiny skull the moment dawn breaks. By the end of this video, you are going to look at your backyard birds completely differently. Not because I am going to tell you a bunch of facts, but because I am going to show you what is actually happening in the invisible world just outside your window every single morning, and why some of what those birds do is aimed almost directly at you. Stay with me, because the thing I am going to tell you about 30 minutes after sunrise, most people who have fed birds their entire lives have never once noticed it, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let us start at the very beginning, before the sun even comes up. There is a moment that ornithologists call the dawn chorus. You have probably heard it without ever giving it a name. It is that wall of sound that hits you when you open a window in early spring or summer before the world is fully awake. Birds singing in layers, dozens of species at once, creating something that sounds almost orchestral. And here is what most people assume. They assume those birds are singing because they are happy, because it is a new day, because nature is beautiful and birds express that beauty. That is sweet, and it is almost entirely wrong. The dawn chorus is not a celebration. It is a negotiation. It is a battle. It is a broadcast of territorial claims going out in every direction at once, like hundreds of radio stations all transmitting on the same frequency at the same time. Every male bird singing in that chorus is doing one of two things. He is telling rival males exactly where his territory ends and threatening consequences if they cross it. Or he is performing for females, demonstrating vocal complexity, stamina, and health in the most direct way a bird can. And here is the detail that changes everything. The reason they do it specifically at dawn, specifically in that low-light window before sunrise, has to do with physics. Sound travels differently in the cold, still air of early morning. It carries farther. It distorts less. It bends around obstacles in a way it simply cannot once the day heats up and air currents begin to move. A bird singing at dawn can project its song almost twice as far as the same bird singing at noon. So when you hear that chorus and think, how lovely, what you are actually hearing is an arms race being fought at maximum biological efficiency. But here is where it gets personal for you. Around 15 to 20 minutes after that chorus peaks, something shifts. The singing fades, and the birds you are used to seeing, your chickadees, your house sparrows, your cardinals, your little dark-eyed juncos if you are in the right part of the country, they start to move. Not randomly, not because they happen to wander toward your yard. They move according to a schedule so consistent that researchers have been able to map it almost to the minute based on species, season, and light level. And a big part of that schedule includes you, or more specifically, your feeder. I want you to think about something. You probably put your feeder up to watch birds, maybe to help them through winter, maybe just because you like them and they make your mornings feel a little less rushed. What you almost certainly did not realize is that in doing that, you inserted yourself into a survival calculation. Your birds know your feeder is there. They know approximately when food appears. They have mapped the location relative to cover. They have identified the predator risks in your yard. And every single morning, when the dawn chorus ends and it is time to feed, they run a risk assessment before they ever fly toward your window. This is the part most people miss entirely. That 2-second pause you see before a bird lands on your feeder, it is not hesitation. It is calculation. The bird is reading your yard. It is checking sight lines. It is watching for movement. It is listening for alarm calls from other species. In those 2 seconds, it is doing something closer to tactical analysis than anything we usually associate with a creature that weighs less than a handful of grapes. Now here is your first practical moment, and I want you to actually use this one. If you have noticed that your feeder seems slow in the mornings, birds are not showing up, or they come and go very quickly, the most common reason has nothing to do with the food. It has to do with cover. Birds will not commit to an exposed feeding station if they cannot quickly reach shelter. The rule most experienced birders use is the 10-foot rule. There should be dense shrub, hedge, or tree cover within 10 feet of your feeder. Not just any cover. Dense cover. The kind a small bird can disappear into in under a second. If your feeder is sitting in the middle of open space, your birds are visiting. But they are visiting as fast as they can, grabbing what they can and leaving. You are not watching birds eat, you are watching birds manage anxiety. Put cover nearby, and you will see something entirely different. You will see them settle. You will see them interact. You will start to understand who is actually in your yard, because they will stay long enough for you to find out. Now I want to stop for just a second and ask you something genuinely. If you have a memory of a specific bird at your window, one that kept coming back, one that seemed almost deliberate about it, one that you could have sworn was looking at you, drop that in the comments below. I am not going to tell you that birds have no inner life, or that those moments do not mean anything. The science on animal cognition has gotten very strange and very interesting in the last decade, and some of what researchers have found about birds specifically is going to be the subject of a future video on this channel. But I want to know your stories first, because the best version of that video is going to come from what people like you have actually experienced. Leave it below. I will read every single one. Now, back to sunrise, and to the thing I told you about at the beginning. Around 30 minutes after the sun clears the horizon, something very specific happens with certain species. It happens so consistently that once you know to look for it, you will wonder how you never noticed before. Robins do it, thrushes do it, certain warblers do it too, and it is called post-dawn foraging shift. Here is what happens. Once light levels reach a certain threshold, not sunrise exactly, but that specific quality of early morning light about half an hour in, ground-feeding birds will move from the areas where they spent the first part of the morning and reposition, not randomly. They move to the edges, to the transition zones between grass and garden bed, between your lawn and your neighbor's fence, between sunlight and shade. Why edges? Because that is where the invertebrates are. Earthworms, beetles, grubs, they respond to soil temperature and moisture. And in the morning, the edges of things heat up at a different rate than the open center. A robin standing at the edge of your garden bed in early morning light is not just looking for food anywhere. It has identified the precise microhabitat where its food is most likely to be active at that exact time of day. That is not instinct in the way we usually use the word, as a dismissal, as if to say, it is just doing what it does. That is spatial memory combined with environmental reading combined with timing. A robin working your yard has a mental map of where the good spots are, at what time, and under what conditions. And here is what that means for you practically. If you want to attract ground-feeding birds, robins, thrushes, towhees, native sparrows, the single most effective thing you can do is not buy a special feeder or a specific seed blend. It is to create edge habitat, a garden bed with mulch right next to short grass, a small brush pile at the corner of your yard, a section of leaves you let sit instead of raking clean. These transitions are buffets for ground feeders, and they will show up every morning at the same time to work them if you give them something worth working. No feeder required, no special equipment, just a little strategic mess. If this is the kind of thing that makes you think differently about how you manage your outdoor space, hitting subscribe right now actually matters. Not for the algorithm, for you. Because the next 3 videos on this channel are going to cover the hidden life of birds in ways that change how you see your entire yard, not just the feeder. The decisions I am going to walk you through could genuinely transform what comes to visit you each morning. And if you are not subscribed, you are going to miss them and not even know it. Now, let me tell you about the thing that happens after the morning feeding rush that almost no one talks about. By about 2 hours after sunrise, most of your active backyard birds have disappeared. Your yard looks empty. And if you are the kind of person who worries about this, who goes to the window and feels a little flicker of concern, wondering where they went, whether something is wrong, I want you to hear this clearly. Nothing is wrong. What is happening is called the midday lull, and it is as natural and predictable as the dawn chorus itself. Birds have a metabolic profile that front-loads energy consumption in the morning. They have already done their most critical work: territorial defense, early feeding, sometimes a first nesting check if it is breeding season. The middle part of the day is genuinely quieter for them. They are often resting in cover, conserving heat in winter or avoiding heat in summer, engaging in preening, and this is the part that delights me, some of them are sleeping. Not deeply. Birds sleep in short bursts, often with one eye literally open, in a state called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, where half the brain rests while the other half remains alert. So that bird sitting very still in your hedge that you almost mistook for a decoration, it may be half asleep and half watching your cat at the same time. Evolution built something that sleeps while it watches for danger. Let that settle for a moment. And here is the emotional core of something I want to leave you with before this video ends, because I think it is the thing that actually matters most. We tend to watch birds the way we watch television, from outside, passively. We observe them as decorations, as background, as pleasant additions to our morning. But what the science keeps revealing, what researchers who dedicate their careers to understanding these animals keep finding, is that the birds in your yard are not decorating your life. They are living theirs, right next to you. With memories of your yard, preferences about your plants, opinions about your cat, and a level of sensory sophistication that makes our own perception look almost clumsy by comparison. A black-capped chickadee can remember the location of thousands of individual food caches over the course of a winter. Its hippocampus literally grows in autumn to accommodate the memory load and shrinks again in spring. The bird at your feeder is not just a bird at your feeder. It is a creature running cognitive software that took millions of years to write, and it chose your yard as part of its operational territory. That is not a small thing. And the mornings you stand at the window with your coffee, watching them come and go, thinking it is just a nice way to start the day, Those moments are something rarer than you think. You are watching something real, something that has nothing to do with screens or feeds or any of the noise the rest of the day will bring. You are watching a world that runs on light and season and instinct, sharpened to a razor edge over more time than our species has existed. The least we can do is pay a little closer attention. So here is what I want you to do tomorrow morning. Set an alarm 15 minutes before sunrise. Go to your window or your yard with something warm to drink. Do not have your phone out. Do not try to identify every species. Just listen. Just watch. Notice when the singing starts and when it stops. Notice who comes first to the feeders and who waits. Notice that pause before they land. Notice the edges of things. And then come back here and tell me what you saw. Because the best thing about this channel is not the videos. It is the people watching them. People who still find something worth waking up early for. People who have not forgotten that the world just outside the window is full of things worth understanding. If you want more of this, the subscribe button is right there and it is free. And if this video gave you something, a new way of seeing your yard, a fact that surprised you, a memory it brought back, share it with someone who feeds birds. Because the best gift you can give a person who loves this kind of thing is the feeling that they were right to pay attention all along. I will see you in the next one. Go check on your feeders.